Today we are going to work on three-digit subtraction and the different strategies we can use to solve word problems. Let's read a book about subtraction to get us started. Hey there, we are going to read a book about subtraction today. It's called Shark Swimathon by Stuart J. Murphy, and it's illustrated by Lynn Kravitz. Now, this book is about some sharks who have a problem and use subtraction in order to help them solve their problem. Now, the work that they do to represent subtraction, they do use the standard algorithm, which we have not learned yet, but it's based on the place value strategies that we have been learning. And so you should be able to make the connection between the two, but we are going to keep continuing working with our place value strategies, and we are not going to be working with the standard algorithm yet. So here's our book, Shark Swimathon. After practice on Monday, all the Ocean City Sharks could talk about was state swim camp. "We'd get to meet the best swimmers around," said Gil, "and we'd learn a lot about swimming," added Stripes. Gil and Stripes were the co-captains of the team. "But we need money to get there," Tiny pointed out. "And we need money for lunches," said Flip and Flap, the Hammerhead twins. They were always hungry. "We need a lot of money," Finn said, "and we just don't have it." Just then, Coach Blue swam in, waving a copy of the Ocean City News. "Here's our chance to get to swim camp," she said. "To celebrate its 75th anniversary, the Ocean City Bank has made a special offer. It will send any swim team to camp if the team swims a total of 75 laps by the end of the week." "That's a lot of laps," said Tiny doubtfully, "and we only have 4 days left." "But there are 6 of us," Finn pointed out. "I know you can do it if you all work together," Coach Blue told them. Tiny took a deep breath and shouted, "We're sharks and we're fearless." "All right," the rest of the team cheered. On Tuesday, while the team warmed up, Coach Blue wrote their goal on a big sign. Then she blew her whistle and the sharks started swimming. All sharks swam 1 lap, the length of the pool and back. Coach Blue shouted, "Go, sharks, go!" Tiny, Finn, Flip, and Flap all stopped after 2 laps, but Gil and Stripes kept on swimming. They stopped after 1 more lap. "Great swim," Coach Blue shouted. Can you figure out how many laps they've already swam? Let's see. Tiny, Finn, Flap, and Flip all stopped after 2 laps. So that's 4 sharks with 2 laps. So 4 groups of 2 is 8. And then Gil and Stripes did 2 plus 1 more. So they did 3 laps. So 2 groups of 3 is 6. So 8 plus 6 is, if I add 2 from my 6 to the 8, I can make a 10. And then I still have 4 left over. So 10 plus 4 is 14. The sharks watched as Coach Blue totaled their laps on her clipboard. Then she subtracted the total from the 75-lap goal. "Super job," Coach Blue announced. "Now we just have 61 laps to go," said Flap as she and Flip gobbled down a snack. You can see on the work, he says, he subtracts his 1s, so 5 ones minus 4 ones is 1 1, and 7 10s minus 1 10 is 6 10s. And here you can see the tally chart and the work that they did. On Wednesday, the sharks couldn't wait to get into the pool. "Sharks to the water," Coach Blue yelled as she blew her whistle. The sharks swam as hard as they could. Tiny stopped after 2 laps, but all the others swam 3. Then they all crowded around as Coach Blue again totaled their laps on her clipboard. When she finished, she subtracted Wednesday's total from the number of laps they still needed to meet their goal. We have 44 laps to go, announced Coach Blue. So you can see she totaled up what they swam. So 17 laps today, because everybody swam a little bit more. And then we can see the work that they did to solve the problem. So they had 61 minus 17. And here's Coach saying, I don't have enough ones, so I'll change 110 into 10 ones. 11 ones minus 7 ones is 4. And 5 tens minus 1 10 is 4 tens. So if you look real close, you can see the ungrouping that they did, because you can't subtract 7 from 1. If you only have 1 1, you can't subtract 7 from that. You don't have enough. So they ungroup from the 10s. All the sharks arrived early on Thursday. I hope we can make it, said Stripes, looking at the sign. I hope so too, Gil said. So they're looking at their sign, hoping that they are going to be able to swim all their laps. They only have 2 days left. After the warm-up, Coach Blue shouted, let's go, and the sharks dived in. This time, no one got out after 2 laps. Everyone swam 3 except Gil. This time, he swam 4. When they were done, the team waited while Coach Blue totaled the results. Then she subtracted the total from the remaining laps in their goal. Great going, Coach Blue said. You did really well. We only have 25 more laps to go. As the sharks rested, Flip said, I wonder what kind of food we'll get at swim camp. Maybe tacos. Tacos are my favorite, said Flap. Mine too, agreed Flip. So here's their tally chart. And today they swam 19 laps. And here's Coach solving the problem. So again, we have 4 minus 9 in those ones, and you can't take 9 away if you only have 4 ones. So it says 9 is greater than 4. I'll change a 10 into 10 ones, 10 ones, or into 10 ones. So you add the 10 to the 4. So 14 ones minus 9 ones is 5. And then 3 tens minus 1 10 is 2 tens. So they get 25. You can see, just like when we do expanded form, this is just another way of showing that. It's just ungrouping from the tens and adding 10 ones to the ones so that you have enough to subtract. On Friday, everybody warmed up and was ready to go. Everybody, that is, except Gil. Where could he be? Asked Finn. Here I am, groaned Gil as he slowly swam in. What happened? Finn cried. I fell off my bike, Gil explained sadly. The doctor said I can't race for a whole month. Oh no, Tiny and Stripes moaned. There goes swim camp, sighed Flip. There go the tacos, sighed Flap. Okay, now I know that sharks can swim, but I did not know that sharks could ride a bike. I'm sensing some personification in this story. The sharks gathered around Coach Blue. We can't do it without Gil, said Tiny, taking off her goggles. Oh, yes, we can, said Stripes firmly. She looked at the sign. We can make it if we each swim 5 laps. Remember, Gil said, we're sharks, and we're fearless, finished Tiny, putting her goggles back on. Gil watched and cheered as the other sharks attacked the water. Stripes finished her 5 laps in record time. Flip and Flap finished their laps next. Finn struggled to the end of his 5th lap. Tiny was the only one left swimming. Go, Tiny! The rest of the team chanted. Do it for Gil, Stripes called. Do it for the tacos, Flip and Flap yelled. Finally, with a big gasp, Tiny made it to the end of her 5th lap. All the swimmers jumped back in the pool. Way to go, sharks, Gil yelled. Tiny doesn't look super tiny. Coach Blue blew her whistle to get the team's attention. "Don't you want to see the results?" she asked. The Sharks all rushed over to the sign. Coach Blue had already put up the team's numbers. "Swim camp, here we come," Stripes called. "Tacos, here we come." Flip and Flap cheered together. So you can see they were able to get their 25 laps, even though Gil wasn't swimming. And then here's how they solved the problem. So 25 minus 25 is 0. So there's 0 ones and 0 tens left, which means they made their goal. The next day, the Sharks made the sports page of the Ocean City News. And the next month, the whole team made it to swim camp. So I hope you liked that book. These are some of my favorite math books. These are the Math Start books. And Stuart J. Murphy, who's the author, he writes a bunch of them. So here's a couple of the other ones that he writes. But I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoy working on subtraction and subtraction strategies today. I hope you enjoyed that book about subtraction and the sharks who had the diving camp problem. Our learning target today is I can subtract within 1,000 using drawings and strategies based on place value. Let's practice that with our mirror words. Mirrors on. I can subtract within 1,000 using drawings and strategies based on place value. Let's do it one more time. I can subtract within 1,000 using drawings and strategies based on place value. Mirrors off. Good job. Remember to go teach that to somebody today. Good job with your mirror words today. Now we are going to practice reviewing our subtraction strategies. Now, when we were subtracting two-digit numbers, we learned some strategies to use, like a proof drawing, using expanded form, and then using our open-ended number line. So those are the strategies we're going to continue to keep using now that we are subtracting three-digit numbers. So we're going to use those same strategies, but just apply them to subtracting with bigger numbers. As we solve this problem today, we're going to be talking our way through it because we always want to ask ourselves, how can I explain my thinking about how I solved this problem? So remember, in order to really understand it, you have to be able to use your own words to explain the steps you did or how you solved the problem. So let's get started. Our first problem is 625 minus 317. So we know we have a big number, or our total, and that we're going to be subtracting an add-in. So we can write a math mountain that looks like 625. 317 is one of our add-ins, and then we have a missing add-in. Another way of writing that same equation would be 317 plus my missing add-in is equal to 625. So when we look at using this problem with a proof drawing, because we have a missing add-in, we're not going to draw the add-ins and group them together. We are going to draw our total and take away one of our add-ins in order to find the missing add-in. If we were to draw our total, 625, and then draw another 317 and group those together, we would not get the right answer. So remember, when we're subtracting, we're taking apart or taking away. So let's go ahead. We're going to draw our 625. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have 2 tens and 5 ones. Okay, now remember, I'm not going to draw my 317 because I'm going to be taking it away. So I'm going to look at my 317. I'm going to look at my ones, and I'm going to see if I can take away 7 ones. Do I have enough ones to take away 7 ones? I don't, because I only have 5 ones, and I can't cross off 7 if I only have 5. So I'm going to ungroup a 10, and I will get 10 ones. There's 5, and another 5 is 10. Now, can I take away 7 ones? Yes, I can. So I'm going to cross off 5 and then 2 more, and that leaves me with 8 ones. Now, remember that this 10 that I ungrouped, that 10 is now gone. That 10 isn't there anymore because it's 10 ones now. So when we go to subtract from our 10s, we need to make sure we don't include that 10. So now I'm going to subtract my 10s. I have 1 10, so I'm just going to cross it off. And now I can subtract my hundreds. And I have to subtract 3 hundreds. 1, 2, 3. So I have 300, no 10s, and I like to write 2 10s to show that the 10s have two place value positions, and 8 ones. So we have 300 plus 0 plus 8, which gives us 308. Now, if I needed to go back and explain that to someone, I would need to be able to explain why I ungrouped a 10 in order to get 10 ones, how I subtracted 7 ones, how when I subtracted 1 10, it left me with 0 10s because I had no 10s left. And then I would need to be able to explain that I crossed off the 300s from the 600s, and that left me with 300.